All right, a quick little update here for Sunday, Soul Day, SOL Day, not SOL in that way, but soul as in solar. Sometimes we like to have some fun, right? But what's coming through very strongly today, again, I probably say this for every time I do a Sunday update, but it's a little windy here, so I'm going to make sure this audio comes through. What is important about Sunday? Well, we can see everything lit up directly behind us, right? It's like from Sunday, it's like we have the sun is up on this day, and we can look in the direction where the light is shining, which is everything that has just transpired, like over the past week. That's the benefit of it, right? So it's a taking stock kind of moment. And we go into a week thinking any number of things are going to happen, and it's all a mystery, which for me is why we begin the week on Monday, Moon Day, the lunar mystery. We don't know what's going to happen. What's coming in right now is when I'm looking back and just really having spent a lot of time today actually just kind of getting back in touch, because a lot transpired, I feel like, collectively, emotionally, over this past week, energetically, a lot of different actions in the world, just a lot going on, and this is not going to slow down. This is what I'm receiving about this year. I don't do a lot of predictions, even though I could. I don't do a lot of specific predictions on purpose, because that's not how it works. But the one thing that is coming through loud and clear is just to hang on a bit, like stay strapped in, stay attached to your ancestors, your guides, the powers, angels, however you think of all that. Work with all that. In any case, I'm meandering, and I intended to keep this shorter, so let me get back to the point. Awakening. A lot of awakening happening at this time. A lot of stirring things up, and an increase in consciousness. And that's, we can get so hyper spiritual about these things that we can turn these words into things that are sort of just vague and up in the air and up in the clouds, and that's not always how it needs to be. There can be moments of that, right, where things just feel transcendent and we can't exactly put words to it, but we got the feeling and we got the inner knowing, and even if we can't express it, and that's good. But this is Sunday. This is Soul Day. This is the day to look back and to go, okay, I see it now. And so it's awakening, stirring up, and increases of consciousness. And what's coming through then with that is a very strong message to understand the difference between your own individual consciousness and the collective consciousness that we're building. And we need both, okay? As individuals, we need to become more and more conscious, more and more aware, have more and more light shed, to an extent, because honestly, there can be too much. And I say this a lot, we're still in this 3D, 4D life where it's like you gotta pay the bills, you gotta do the things, you gotta get things done. There are actions that need to happen, so we can get too much in the mode of just soaking up the sunlight, so to speak. But within reason, right? With balance, and that's also coming through here. Then there's a balance, and so as individuals, we're coming to our own different senses of consciousness, right? Of increased consciousness or awareness and ability to sense in different ways than what we're used to. And then also the specifics of that. You know, if I'm able to have an inner knowing that I didn't used to have, almost like a sense of things, right? Well, what is that? What is that revealing to me personally? You know, people talk about the clairaudience, clairvoyance, and these types of things. That might be what we're talking about, right? It might just be an awareness of self. It might be, and actually I know it's this for almost all of us, it's a greater awareness of this world that we're living in, what it's actually like, whether we like it or not, what has actually been grounded into place as social structures, as the way the world works, quote unquote. All of this we're becoming more and more conscious of, and as individuals, but then also we can bring this to each other collectively, right? So that's the other part of this. And this is where it's really important to have a balance, that one, we're not just stuck in our own little consciousness bubbles, and also then that not being in our own little consciousness bubbles, where we are open, right? We're open to what other people are conscious of. Because one of the problems with this, again, quote unquote, awakening journey is that you can get blinded by the light. You can think that what you're conscious of right now is everything. And it's not. It might be a lot, and it might be a lot more than you're used to, and it might be amazing, but it's not everything, right? It's not all that's possible. There's too much for any one of us, and I don't care who you are or how tapped in or tuned in you are. No one has all of it. No one has the whole picture. No one has the whole knowing. So that's important right now, that we are willing to accept others' knowing into our own little bubble of consciousness. And I'm not saying you have to be open to absolutely everything. We use discernment, right? We use judgment. Sometimes we need that severity in terms of no, that's not allowed in, because I know what that is, and that's not for me, or just not good, what have you. But yeah, it's there's a collective picking up of steam, a collective sense of the wheel is starting to turn, and the vehicle starting to roll down the road. There's movement. I feel an analogy coming in that I think is kind of right on. 2023 was kind of like pushing a wheeled vehicle up a hill, right? And 2024 is like getting to the top of the hill, and now everybody get in, and now the momentum's gonna go. It's gonna go, and we need to be listening to each other. We need to be forming up in whatever small, medium, or large collectives that we can get into. I just saw 939 on the time of this video, which was important. That's a number of There's a lot bouncing around with that sequence of numbers. I'll just put it that way. So yeah, be open. Have your own energetic shields, or a bubble, if you will. Have that up, but make sure things can get through. Have a sense of what you're letting through, and just be open and willing to both share and receive. Last thing I'll then leave with is, again, we've been healing the divine feminine in a very big way. And so, but there's this dance between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And the dance hasn't really been happening for a very long time. Not on a widespread scale like what we need. Whether it's worldwide, at national levels, at regional levels, at smaller local levels, it hasn't been happening. So part of this openness then is this is where the rubber meets the road, right? Can you give and receive? Can you give and receive? Too much closing off, I'm not receiving. Too much giving, all I'm doing is giving, right? Again, this is the balance of the feminine aspect, right? Of giving, receiving. So that's what's coming in today. Almost at 12 minutes. I'm gonna stop this one. Just sending all the love and the peace and the light your way, just as much as you can stand. Sending that to you right now. If you do feel that you're going through an awakening, lots going on, again, you might be at that point where there's so much light coming in, you're like, I don't know what to do with this. I was actually intending to have an object with me that helps me through that. I highly recommend specifically working with, if you've got a lot of energy coming in, you don't know what to do with it, work with the energy of black, of dark stones, obsidian. I've personally found basalt to be immensely important for me. Was given at exactly the moment I needed it, and I'll show this off in a different video. And literally sometimes you need that physical connection with an object. So, and it doesn't have to be something you go out and buy. It can be something that you literally just find and pick up somewhere, like along the road or on a path out in the woods, or so be open to that. In fact, I recommend that, actually. I recommend being open to it. You don't need to work with diamonds or gold or silver or things like this, or particularly even crystals. Okay, sometimes that's not what you need to work with. So all that just came through in a rush. I'll close this down now. If you do need support in some kind of way, feel free to reach out. I am available on Instagram. You can email me at thinkingstump.northnews@gmail.com. On Instagram, I am wandering_scholar writer. All right. Much love.